From the front page now, a Seattle family comes out of the rain.
It's Wednesday night in a part of Seattle where you don't want to be at night. But it's a familiar place and time for Denny Hancock, his family, and their friends.
All right.
And for those who for the past 6 years have benefited from their charity. This is a scene which tells only part of the story. A story that begins years ago and miles away at a roadside cafe.
I saw these men coming in and I immediately thought, man, I hope they don't sit by me. And I turned away, and before I knew it, they were sitting right next to me, I think, despite me.
It was the young Denny Hancock, husband and father, carpet layer trying to eke out a living, who stopped by for a bite at the County Line Cafe.
I smiled and I talked, and the older man talked back, and he was really a nice old guy, and he got up to use the phone, and I started talking to the younger man, and he basically didn't do it. He was motionless, and I looked closer, I could tell that he was blind and he had a few other problems.
And suddenly the situation turned from discomfort to shock. The ragged blind man sitting next to Denny suddenly lapsed into seizure and fell to the floor.
And I'd never seen that before, and it really scared me, and I called for his friend. And his friend hurried over and took his hand and comforted him and looked up at me and said, "Please don't judge us." He said, "This is my son, and he's been like this since he was a baby." And then he got up, and they walked out of the cafe, and it just left me feeling like I have to do something different.
Profoundly moved by his experience, Denny came straight home, and within a half hour had defined, in the language he loves most, a change of heart.
At the County Line Cafe, I was sitting, passing time away, when in walked a father and his son.
The song County Line Cafe has become an anthem that Denny has performed hundreds of times, and a symbol of what is now a family matter for the Hancocks. What was once Denny's big carpet truck now doubles as the official vehicle for Mama's Hands, one of the Hancock family projects to help the needy of Seattle. On this typical summer day, Denny and his 5 children are picking up donated furniture. In the peace and seclusion of a forest outside Seattle, the furniture is delivered to the House of Hope.
This is the House of Hope. We were able to buy this a couple years ago, and we bought it specifically for women and children in crisis.
6 months ago, Sheila Fontana and her daughter Jasmine left some tough circumstances behind and found hope here. Sheila is now a resident manager, but she will soon be one of the more than 40 women who will have used the House of Hope to put their lives back together before starting over in the outside world.
It's given me a chance to, sit down and sort out my life and, figure out what it is that I really want to do. And so I'm looking into also, getting back into doing dental work and stuff, because that's what I originally did.
This is where they sleep. It's not very fancy, but it's clean.
While the residents of the house maintain the facility as part of their goal to be self-reliant, the Hancock children are a critical part of its success. Billy and Minta tutor children in math and other subjects.
3 pennies. 80 plus 3 pennies.
And besides the other work of upkeep, the Hancock children are peers who give resident children a taste of what normal family relationships can be like. The serenity and security surrounding the House of Hope is a world away from the regular Wednesday night trip into downtown Seattle. The Mama's Hands truck bears food and phones. The Hancocks have teamed up with a cellular phone company to provide the homeless with a few minutes of home, wherever that may be. It is a rich experience for the Hancocks and the other volunteers they bring along.
We have sent over 50 men and women and children home to their families all across the United States.
And that's where it all comes back to the Hancocks.
So we're seeing families reunited, people coming off the street and going back to either a son, a daughter, a wife, and it's such a great feeling, and my kids are seeing that too. And I think they recognize the power of the family and how important families are.
And often it's the importance of family in the larger sense, the family of man, the one George the homeless checker player and young Billy Hancock belong to.
Well, a long time ago, we used to go to a shelter, and I used to play like checkers and stuff like that with him, and we'd have a lot of conversations, and I don't know what really happened to him.
To be sure, it's not always easy. The Hancock's kindness is not always welcome.
I just ignore it or walk away or just ask questions or smile at them and they smile back.
They're normal people that just made bad decisions and ended up where they are.
And we do recognize, and probably the thing we've learned the most, is that we can't help anyone that doesn't want to help themselves.
They are the lessons that are most important. Even as the family watches local news reports of their good works, they shun the spotlight except to benefit the project. It has brought the family closer. Rachel says she need look no further than her own father for a hero.
I think that he's pretty incredible. I think that courage that he's had to pursue his dream, I guess. Not many people would go out and just give everything that he has to make this work.
That's better. Right, sweetheart. Love you. Don't forget your prayers, okay?
With Billy in bed, the family packs for a long overdue vacation. Family service seems to make family recreation more meaningful.
Okay, there's two.
A footnote here. The Hancocks would be the first to tell you they are not the perfect family. They struggle with the same things other families do. But Denny and Leslie are confident of the roadmap that points to a purpose in their lives and to the lives of all God's children.
We're all children of our Father in heaven. He loves them, so do I. At the County Line Cafe.
And therefore, our reminder that the greatest work you'll ever do will be within the walls of your own home. As we leave you, once again, the beginnings of the story featured at the start of this program, as experienced and performed by Denny Hancock.
The County Line Cafe, I watched them as they walked away, and I hung my head in shame. They planted deep inside of me a seedling to a mighty tree.
Well, it's always kind of fun to see that video, which was
1996.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
23 years ago. A lot has happened since then. But you know, it kind of started with a dream of Denny's, I have to say. And it was a time in our life that was actually pretty financially difficult. But he really felt strongly that he should follow the prompting that he received to do something for the homeless. And he mentioned in that video that at that point we'd sent about 40 or 50 home, and
Now we sent closer to 1,400 home. And
yeah.
it's been harder the last year or two because of what's going on in Seattle, but we're still trying. I'll be heading out there tonight to work on the streets, and it's still something that I really feel good about, and we'll just always be working on the streets.
Yeah. So at that time, we had just recently purchased our first shelter. We subsequently built a home on the adjoining 5 acres, which was specifically designed for our program, and then a third home on the adjoining 5 acres. So we had a pretty
Beautiful, amazing 15 acres.
fabulous property, gorgeous homes.
A wonderful place for the ladies to come and feel safe and feel far away from the trouble that they were facing, and really give them the opportunity to heal and to just enjoy and feel the comfort of nature. And
The women and children that come to us are all in crisis of some kind. Some are domestic violence victims, others have had drug and alcohol problems and have found themselves homeless. we've had incredibly sad stories that we've heard and seen over the years. Children coming in full body casts who've been thrown against a wall, moms who've got stab wounds all over their bodies, women who were essentially living in their cars or just under the viaduct with their children. And as Denny said, our property is very peaceful. It takes them away from the trauma and allows them a chance to heal and feel safe. And then we start a very intensive program of trying to establish, where they are and where, what kind of dreams they have. We do have...
Some of them come with no dreams.
That's true.
And
that's true.
It's pretty wonderful to see somebody come in almost in a hopeless situation. The hope that they have and the reason they have to change is this little person or these little people that they bring with them. The children are really the reason they come to us in the first place, because they don't want to lose their children.
Right. So today we have a fabulous House of Hope director that lives on site with her husband. And we also have a second full-time caseworker. So they do get on-site case management, they get on-site counseling, but we also partner with some fantastic organizations locally in the Snoqualmie Valley and in the greater Seattle area, Encompass being one of them, who does a lot with the children.
The YWCA has helped.
The YWCA.
Yeah.
So, for many of them, it's just teaching them basic life skills. They don't know hardly how to cook or care for their children, manage, even minimal finances and so forth. For others, they may be, more like you and us, but they've had some terrible trauma happen in their life, and they've ended up where they are. It's interesting, we also get women and children who are third generation welfare, whose parents got them addicted to drugs when they were, 11 and 12
Very
years old.
rare that a lady will come that has a father. They almost all, they barely know or don't know their father at all.
And if they know their mother, the mother is usually highly dysfunctional. So, they really don't have anyone to fall back on, anyone to help them through the crisis. And so, that's what we hope to do. And it's been a journey. It's been difficult, but it's been incredibly rewarding. And probably the hardest thing, quite honestly, is just keeping the program going financially. It's tough to be a nonprofit today. It's tough to share the story to the depth that people can open their checkbooks and write a check. We have, a lot of women and children that we try to serve every year. Probably 24 plus go through our program every year. The average length of stay is 6 to 9 months. Some stay much longer if they're making good progress, but we feel like they need to be there longer. And we take care of all of their needs. Unlike a lot of the other programs, homeless programs that you're probably familiar with, they actually charge some portion of rent and so forth. At the House of Hope, they don't have to, we cover all of their expenses.
We encourage them to save everything they have, so when they leave, they have a nest egg.
Yeah. So we won't take much more time. I think we're going to end with a video of one of the women sharing her stories, her story. But thanks again for this opportunity to talk a little bit about Mama's Hands. You can go to our website, which is www.mamashands.org, and Mamas has 3 M's.
MAMMASHANDS.org. Thank you.
For each of us, life provides moments of disappointment and even episodes of great personal struggle. We strive to overcome, relying on inner reserves of strength and the loving support of family and friends. But for some, an extra measure of despair is added, a relentless tormentor, or drugs that grip their soul. For these few, victory may appear to be lost. But what about hope? Indeed, we believe in hope. It's a gift we all possess, which we can share and is synonymous with love.
I came from an abusive home and lots of other abusive relationships. I am so thankful and lucky that I found Mama's Hands. They have given me a new beginning and a place where me and all my children are safe. Mama's Hands has given me a safe, loving, kind environment that I can stay here and pursue my dreams of being a pediatric nurse. And I can therefore support me and my kids on our own. And that is wonderful. That's a wonderful feeling.
I moved back in with my mother in 2010 when I was pregnant with my daughter. She was a housewife at the time, so we had no income. In February, we were evicted. We had no place to go. I called Mama's Hands, and thankfully Denny answered the phone. He welcomed us into his home, and we were accepted, and around 11 p.m. we showed up here at Mama's Hands. It was magnificent. This is a beautiful, wonderful place. My daughter, she is 3 years old. She loves it here. There are so many other kids here. She's been given books and toys, and she has a wonderful place to grow and be safe while we get ourselves together. Mama's Hands has provided all kinds of things for me. Like, we came here with duffel bags, and they provided clothes. They provided hygiene products for us. Mama's Hands has given us so much. I'm really grateful to Mama's Hands and the investors for giving us this opportunity.
The purpose of Mama's Hands is to help the women and children that end up living here, help them stay together as a family unit, be happy and confident that they can remain a family unit.
While we were there, my oldest went to school. I was able to get connected with benefits that I didn't know that existed because I'm a veteran, and because of that I was able to get into permanent housing and was able to move where I am now. So now I'm actually in my 2nd year getting my bachelor's at Western Governors University. Mama's Hands helped our family by just providing Dylan and Connor, my oldest two, with a very stable atmosphere. We are in a very good school district right now. They're in Little League. Dylan made it to his championship game last year, and they still remember Denny. When we first moved to House Hope, he was a working man, and now he's Uncle Denny. I'd like to thank the donors, because without them, Mama's Hands wouldn't have been there to be able to help me get out of the situation that I was in. I could probably very well still be living with my dad in a very bad situation, and they do such good work there and help so many people that it's just amazing.
I hope you know how much it means to me to be in a safe place, finally. I'll be there. Please don't get my spot away.